Horizon Jazz Home Studio Reacts, and this is why Meta dropped 70% by the channel ColdFusion. Yeah, okay. In this episode, we discuss the Meta's dramatic fall from the top and the reasoning behind it. Yes, the Facebook Meta apparently. So, this has been going on recently, right? I heard about it, just briefly, but, I kind of got the story, like what's happening there. And it's mostly has to do with their VR type of thing that they're going with, right? They're creating this kind of VR space. You're supposed to go to this virtual reality thing and meet up and socialize somehow, like that's the next revolutionary step or something, right? So Facebook, let's be honest, Facebook is the first thing that kind of jump-started the social media age that we live in today, right? You can go back than that, right? MySpace and whatever. But Facebook was the first thing that kind of did this kind of explosive reach that so many people got attached to. And from there, it just kind of like Instagram, then TikTok, and just increased after that. But Facebook was kind of the main thing at that scale, right? So, and they are worth trillions or something, right? At the point, obviously not now. Now they're in billions or something, but they were worth trillions or something because of this. And then this VR thing just was a disaster. Somehow that dropped their 70%. Like 70% is a lot. I mean, it's not just a lot; it's ridiculous. In this kind of a business, if you just go to the board meeting and show like, oh, our stocks dropped 70%, people will have a heart attack. 20-30% is like, what the fuck? 70 is just like, how is this even possible? So yeah, they clearly fucked up really badly. So let's watch this one. I've never reacted to ColdFusion channel, but it's like 4 million subscribers, so clearly this is gonna be good, I guess. So yeah, let's watch it.
Hi, welcome to another episode of ColdFusion. The company Meta has been in the news for multiple reasons lately, from staff hijacking user accounts and allegedly taking bribes, to a falling stock
Meta fired more than 24 workers for taking over customer accounts, sometimes for bribes. What?
price, mass layoffs, increasingly ineffective business model, and of course, a failing metaverse project. Their most recent financial report showed a 52% decrease in net profit for the quarter. It seems like the company that everyone loves to hate is in serious trouble if nothing changes.
Yeah, let's do
In this episode, we'll discuss the flailing of the once unstoppable giant.
You are watching ColdFusion TV.
You know what the worst thing about this is? The whole world likes to be social in social media. Like, are you seriously telling me if I pull up 100 people from the streets, 90+% of them won't be constantly on social media like Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, right? So you clearly like this shit that Mark Zuckerberg started, but at the same time you also hate him. Like, if you hate that so much, stop using social media. What the fuck are you doing? But you can't stop doing that, right? This newer generation of social media was birthed by him, and you at the same time you love to hate him, like he says, right? Clearly there is many background behind it, right? I mean, their mishandling of this, how they handle lots of things in their Facebook cause lots of issues around the world. But then again, you need to understand, like, okay, I'm not trying to be apologetic of Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg. I feel weird just saying that, but still, Facebook reached heights that no other social media platform reached, right? So at that point, if they are failing at controlling their own platform at that scale, it's kind of understandable. But at start, it's understandable. If it keeps happening and you don't find solution, now you're obviously at fault.
Meta investors are not happy at all. They've seen flat growth, decreased revenue and profit. Less than a year ago, Meta was valued at nearly $1 trillion. Today, it's worth less than a third of that. To put it another way, the fall has been so dramatic that its stock price is back to January of 2016 levels. If you invested in Meta at that time without pulling profits, you've lost money. This year, Meta is down 70%, making it the worst performing stock in the entire S&P 500.
King Mark.
To begin to understand the full picture of why Meta is collapsing, we have to go back to 2005. At this time, Facebook then president Sean Parker would help Mark Zuckerberg navigate his way around Silicon Valley, but he would also help Mark gain complete control of the company. Under the guidance of Sean, Zuckerberg would set up the company so he was essentially king. He overruled everyone, even the board of directors. He couldn't be touched, and it would stay this way indefinitely. this dictatorship would come back to hurt the company. In the 2010s, users started to move from desktops to smartphones. Although Facebook adapted, Mark Zuckerberg still felt like they could have been more of a player in the hardware space. Facebook tried releasing their own smartphone in 2013, but the public thumbed their nose at it. Mark needed to try something else, and in 2014, he would find it. When Zuckerberg saw an Oculus demo, he was sold. He was convinced that VR would be the future of computing. He would then buy Oculus for $2 billion and went all in, even changing the company's name and spending $10 billion a year on research to make his vision a reality. And herein lies one of the major issues. Because Mark was king, nobody within the company could stop him, even if they thought it was a bad idea. Though, in my opinion, technology overall seems to be going in a direction where a widely used metaverse environment for the masses will become inevitable. A virtual space where an online life is lived in VR. But there's a problem. Is this future 5 years away or 15 years away?
I don't know about that whole assumption that this is inevitable. Because putting on a headset and being in that virtual world is a bit stretched than just pulling out your phone. Pulling out your phone and just messing with it is much easier than putting something over your eyes that, then you have to be in this kind of a virtual world in order to interact. Feels like a bit more stress than you would just like pull up your phone in like barely second and just do whatever, right? People are constantly on their phone. You can't be constantly on VR. You don't know where you're going. People like to do their thing while, staying on the mobiles. You can't do that if you are VR. You have to stay one place. Otherwise, you're going to crash or something, right? This is the problem with predicting future technology. In the past, people thought that energy is going to be, free going in the future. But energy is not free. Information technology became free, right? Everything on internet, every knowledge is like, you just at your fingertips now, not energy. So that's the problem. People think that VR, this is just great. Like you said, Mark Zuckerberg saw that and just like, oh, this is definitely the future. How? Ease of access is what matters, right? People only care about ease of access. They are okay to sacrifice quality in order for ease of access, right? So you have to put a headset, then Oculus, and now you have to be in VR and whatever crap like that. That's not going to work, right? It could be a fun thing, it could be a fun gimmick, but it's not going to overtake the mobile thing. Until it becomes the Star Trek type of thing where you just put something here permanently and it just creates this kind of a weird, transparent strip that just transforms you or something. Probably we'll have that in 100 years or something, I don't know. But unless that comes, it's not going to overtake a simple phone, right? Because you can do anything and just pull out a phone and just start to do anything. You're in a meeting, oh, wait a minute, and resume your meeting. So I don't believe VR is going to do that. It's not ease of access.
If it's 5 years away, Meta might be able to hang on and ride it out. But if it's 15 years away, this is a major issue and shareholders aren't going to tolerate it. For investors, it feels like Zuckerberg is hinging his Titan company on something that the world just isn't ready for yet. Apple successfully broke through this issue with the iPhone. Meta isn't on the same level here, or at least just yet. On the hardware side, they're doing some cool things and have sold over 10 million VR headsets, which is good, but on the software side, Meta's flagship metaverse product, Horizon Worlds, looks horrendous.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is the future. Right now, you can go to Instagram and put some story. At the same time, you can also navigate to Facebook, tell somebody to kill themselves or whatever, as I guess Gen Zs you like to do nowadays or something. You can multitask even in your social media. You can't do that in this VR thing. So this is not going to overtake what we have right now.
I can't believe that over $15 billion went into the creation of this.
Yeah.
The metaverse is now loading. Create your avatar. You might be wondering, hey, what's going on with the resolution? Let me show you what it's like if I uncrop it, okay? Bear in mind, I've done this before on Capture for other games on Oculus, right? That's not happened. I've never had it like kind of happen to that degree. So not a good start, and that's why I've had to crop it, because I don't want to make people sick. Avatar legs may not be available in all app experiences. Well, I thought that was the fucking point of the last conference. Just trying to navigate the
yeah, but last conference wasn't inside the VR, right? It was, I guess, mostly computer generated or something like that, right? It just showed that this is now going to be possible going future or something.
trying to navigate the menu. Oh dear God. This only has 197 likes. Reason I'm drawing attention to this is probably the same first world it shows to everyone, and like only 200 people gave it a thumbs up. Where?
Go to the arcade.
The arcade.
The
I will check out the arcade. Thank you so much, guys.
See you later, dude.
Wait, everyone's still in my ears. Can you hear me?
Is he gone?
He's dead. He died.
I think he is.
died?
I think he is. All right. He died.
Rest in
Guys,
peace.
get out.
Why,
Get
why
out.
can I hear him? No, guys, I'm here. I'm
okay.
here.
Okay.
I'm trapped in the menu.
Everybody to the arcade.
Is it
Screen
the-
sign him. Screen
I'm
sign
in
him.
the
Let's go.
menu, friend.
Is it the
Screen
I'm. It crashed. $15 billion well spent.
I think Zuckerberg isn't actually wrong that VR will be the technology that connects people in a way that other technology simply can't. But there's just so much work that needs to be done. As Palmer
VR is going to connect people in a way the other technologies cannot. How about going to the cafe with your fucking friends? You don't need technology. Yeah, this is going to be a thing. I'm not denying it, but it's not going to be the main thing. It's not going to overtake the phones, but it's going to be a fun thing, right? If it works, it's going to be one of the things you do at evening, right? Sure, it's going to be like, you don't want to go to cafe, but you also want to go to cafe. Fuck it, VR. It's going to work, but this is just, yeah.
Lucky, the founder of Oculus, puts it, Horizon Worlds is a poor product that isn't fun. Quote, "It's terrible today, but it could be amazing in the future. And the thing is, it's not like creating a great VR experience is impossible. VR chat is already miles ahead in many aspects." In August of 2022, the vice president of Horizon Worlds left. It's not spelling the most confidence of behind-the-scenes activity. The second issue is the crippling of the main source of revenue for Meta, targeted advertising. And once again, to fully understand this, we have to go back, this time to 2008.
Apple says fuck
In this
you, right?
year, Facebook would hire Google ad executive Sheryl Sandberg as chief operating officer. In those early days, she would balance Mark's reckless behavior, but moreover, she was instrumental in creating what would propel Facebook into the stratosphere. Extremely effective advertising based on the personal data of users. It worked so well that very early employees became rich. This was great for wallets, but bad for consumers. Users absolutely hated it when they found out that they were being exploited, but it didn't matter because the company was making money hand over fist. Though, without knowing it, Meta had now become vulnerable to any outside entity that choked off its data collecting. And this is exactly what happened in 2021.
Apple says fuck you.
Tim Cook would mandate that iPhone users could switch off their ad targeting, and Meta lost billions. We've done a full episode on this, which I'll link below. Statistically, iPhone users tend to spend more money than Android ones, so this move by Apple severely hurt Facebook. According to David Wenher, Meta's
Yeah, Apple costs a lot than your average Android phone, I guess, budget phone, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah, this is a big... First of all, Meta relying on Apple was bound to be a failure eventually. Meta in itself was $1 trillion company, Apple being even bigger, I guess. But, this was the problem, right? Apple can literally flick off a switch and Meta's fucked. So I'm not saying this Zuckerberg is completely stupid trying to do this. Of course, he's going to find some other way to make sure his company survives, right? Because Facebook clearly dependent on people, right? Who can just flick off the switch and just say like, fuck you.
chief financial officer, advertisers are now starting to move to Google. With Meta's vaporized profits, all was now laid bare and open to clear scrutiny. Frankly, Meta is a company that isn't improving their core products. Improvements to user interface and user experiences are left on the back burner. Instead, Meta focuses on stealing other features from other platforms, such as Reels from TikTok, and implementing them into Instagram. But competing with one of the best social media algorithms on earth is a tall task. Reels aren't as effective at making money as Instagram's other features. As for the user experience, Instagram is now choked with ads and is straying ever further away from its original idea. For its first decade, back when it was Facebook, the firm used to innovate on the social media front. This stage is clearly over. In early 2022, longtime COO Sheryl Sandberg, who was supposedly the adult in the room, left Meta. Now Mark Zuckerberg is a king without any guardrails. Most recently, Facebook has laid off 11,000 staff, or 13% of their workforce. Even though higher interest rates are demolishing high-risk investments such as big tech, any stock falling by 70% in a year is nothing to sneeze at. Zuckerberg states that overinvestment was the issue. He doesn't seem to see doubling down on the metaverse as an issue to investors. On the 10th of November, in a call with investors, he would state that he thought the surge of e-commerce from COVID would be permanent, so he significantly increased his investments. And, quote, "Unfortunately, this did not play out the way I expected. Not only has online commerce returned to prior trends, but the macroeconomic downturn, increased competition, and ad signal loss have caused our revenue to be much lower than I'd expected. I got this wrong, and I take responsibility for that." Beyond financial woes, Meta is facing investigations from the FTC and a whole host of lawmakers. Antitrust is looming and threatening either to break up the company or make it harder for them to simply acquire companies like they could in the past. I also don't have to reiterate all the scandals, like Cambridge Analytica, leaked documents on mental health and social division. The demographic shift also isn't helping. TikTok has eaten Meta's lunch, both on Facebook and Instagram. According to Kevin Rose of the New York Times, despite older people generally having more funds, advertisers love to follow the younger demographic.
Obviously.
Long story short, Meta
I think TikTok has bigger. I mean, I get it. Like, this was downfall, like Apple just pulling up the ad thing, right? Private ad things, and how this virtual reality thing crashing. But I think TikTok is kind of a big thing there. They kind of jabbed at it because Instagram and Facebook was the biggest thing there is for a long time. Both are owned by Meta. But now TikTok is kind of at the level, right? I mean, anybody who thinks like Facebook and Instagram is like, oh, this is what I'm doing, they are also going to do TikTok, right? I mean, at masses in past few years, celebrities have also started to get in, right? And, you know, even if people haven't heard of TikTok, now they know of TikTok. Like, it just legitimizes somehow, right? That's the kind of fucked up thing. So TikTok is kind of a big deal in order for Meta to, I guess, you know, bring down a peg. And Meta was already crashing somewhat. So 70%, I think TikTok also has something to do with it.
is in an identity crisis with a king who has tunnel vision. So what can be done? Well, looking at it from the outside, there should be some soul searching. Meta is already two companies, so perhaps Mark should embrace this. One company is a pure technology company aiming to create the metaverse. The other is a social media and advertising business, and this company has lost the attention of its CEO. Maybe it's time for the social media part to be a proper subsidiary run by another CEO. The only bright ray of hope is that Meta still has almost 4 billion customers. There's a lot of potential to turn it around.
Yeah,
But one,
seriously.
will they? And two, do we even really want that? Let's just say, if we had a metaverse for the masses built by someone else, I wouldn't be sad. So what do you guys think? Feel free to discuss in the comment section below.
Yeah, last thing, look man, here's the thing. There's a reason why 4 billion people uses Meta. If people want it, people want it. Like you can oh, the Facebook and Instagram is just bad. It has lots of psychological effect on people, and it's all true, right? It's just fucked up. There's a reason why I don't use it, right? I use, like when the Facebook was kind of a newer thing in the mid 2000s and late 2000s, outside a Facebook account, right? I was using lots of social media, but I saw how it was increasing, intensifying, and I'm like, fuck that, I'm not doing this. And I stopped around 2012 or something. But yeah, see, 4 billion people uses it, right? And if 4 billion people uses it, clearly they want it. And at some point you're like, if people want it, they want it, regardless of if it's bad for them or not, right? I mean, you're not going to say no to, you're not going to suppress them. Like, it's good the Meta would crash. Like something else would come along and replace it. If people want this, people want this. That's what it is, right? And yeah, like, it's a 4 billion users. Clearly, they have a massive, base that they can use from, right? AI technology is getting better and better. Look at how AI is increasing. There are AI who basically you can just type in the word and they can create images. Like the whole image thing was, booming right now. So AI is just getting better. Look at how YouTube's algorithm works. It's ridiculous how good it is, right? I mean, obviously it can cause problems but YouTube is way too big and way too much data go through it. And its algorithm is incredible because of this, boom in AI. So even though Apple's personalized ad thing might be an issue for Meta, they could, develop their own AI system that somehow sees behavior, sees demographic, and somewhat personalized, not completely personalized like how they used to do it before by invasion of privacy, but kind of guessing, like AI guesswork. That would still be better. They would still bring up the revenue for like that. At that point, it won't be invasion of privacy. It would be like, prejudging you, I guess. Why not? But yeah. Alright, well, that was why Meta dropped 70% by the channel ColdFusion. If you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.